Oh yes, the program at the end was successful, very successful. Why was established? Because Israel threat that until that time was a threat of frictional war between symmetric armies was gradually changing, and the threat was shifting more and more to missiles that could threaten the hinterland and the population and cities of Israel, which before that were protected by our Air Force because it was facing a regular air threat. With the missiles, regular air defense are not effective, and you have to develop spatial forms of air defense in order to deal with missile defense. And that was the technological challenge, but it was more than a technological challenge. It was a doctrinal challenge because Israel defense doctrine is in its essence very offensive. It's based on offensive warfare. Israel is too small to fight wars on Israel's soil. If there is a full-scale symmetric war against state armies, the doctrine is to transfer the fighting into the enemy territories because Israel territory is too small for that. So going into a major defensive program was a lot of difficulty, a lot of doctrinal difficulties, and it was resisted by both the military and civilian analysts. And there was a confrontation between our soldiers and our civilians, which the civilians won. And that was a breakthrough both technologically and doctrinarily. From that time on, defense started being accepted by the military establishment as part of the establishment itself. And in fact, that program was the precursor for further programs, which as we see today, are not even sufficient. We need more. Because the threat, the missile threat, actually what shifted was that the classical symmetric war threat has almost vanished. And instead of it, we have this asymmetric threat, which comes from terror and comes from missiles, rockets, and UAVs. Instead of direct frictional war, we're now facing indirect, what we call hybrid war. This is our main challenge, and I'll speak to that in my address. And because of that, Israel national defense doctrine, national security doctrine is in flux. It needs adaptation, but there is a quite tremendous confrontation between various schools of thought in the establishment, in the defense establishment, how to adopt our doctrine into the new reality. Between the usual confrontation between the conservatives and the progressives. Conservatives in this case are the schools of thought that believe in the previous doctrine, that they refuse to depart from it. And challengers are those who think that the doctrine needs serious revision, and I'm among them, of course. So I'm not, my views are not very popular in some parts of our defense establishment. So this controversy is going on as we speak, and how it's going to be resolved in a typical Israeli way. We'll make actual moves, and then the doctrine will be adopted.